Welcome back to another installment of Professor Charles is Live, and today we have a guest. And today we're going to talk about why Black history is commercialized. And hey, it's Black History Month, you know what I'm saying? So why not talk about this topic? Just waiting on my brother to tune in, my frequent collaborator, guys. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday or a Monday, depending on what's going on. So give me a second, see what's going on. I sent bro the link, and we're gonna talk about this topic because this is a topic that needs to be talked about. It's still a topic now. So hold on a sec, guys. Give me a sec. And here we go.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah, what's going on, bro?
What's going? Can you hear
So,
me?
yeah, I can hear you, bro. I can hear
Okay.
you, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, this is my frequent collaborator, Jay, also 313 Most Hated Man. So, today we're going to talk about Black history being commercialized. But let's start it off with this, bro. Like I heard a statement, like I think it was a few years ago about Morgan Freeman, and
Okay.
man, people hated that statement, man. It's like 1 month for Black History Month, you know what I'm saying? And people was like, why do we have a month just to celebrate? You know what I'm saying? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with it, bro?
Um. Well, me personally,
Okay.
like 1 month isn't enough to celebrate. Your culture. I think it should be like all year round,
Right.
no matter what the
Right.
commercial saying, the radio is saying, the internet.
right.
Like
Right. Yeah.
I, I don't know anybody that used to eat McDonald's. They used to advertise you buy one Big Mac, get one free. Martin Luther King special. It's all like money, man. It's crazy.
Right. So, I'm gonna talk to you about my experience, why I feel like Black history, and I'm gonna give you, the floor after that about your take on it. So, like, I know back in school, it was weird, man. I kind of shunned away from history because our social studies books. If you really looked at the social studies book and paid attention to like the editors, people that did the sessions, most of the people were white. There was like one black person in the book, and you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
was a Tim McGraw book. And, you know what I'm
I
saying?
remember those books.
right. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you see all these white people on the cover. You got Washington, all these different presidents. It's like, well, dang, like, I mean, it's supposed to be what is it? United States history or world history, whatever, different education depending on what grade you were in. It was like,
Right.
dang, like this it? Like yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is like when I start to understand with the book literally, I started to see issues, you know what I'm saying? And like the thing was, when we had our history in the book, it was like little small sections, you know what I'm saying? Like you would
Right.
have like, you know what I'm saying, like with Malcolm X, it was a small section. With Marcus Garvey, it was a small section. With the Black Panthers, it was a small section. So like they kind of glorified Martin Luther King, and I'm not against it, you know what I'm saying? But it was
Yeah.
like, well, why don't we have another like a more pages to look at with this, you know what I'm saying? Even with this whole like who was the first people here, knowing good and well that the Europeans weren't the first people in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
it's just like bits and pieces were missing with history. It was more so like from the Europeans' perspective. And you know what I'm saying? You can't knock it because those were the people that were majority writing the book, editing the book, and stuff like that. And I just was like, yo, man, like even um like a lot of people don't know the United States is called Turtle Island. That's the original name of the United States. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was a little bit like alienated because like you open up the book and you're just like, man, like this really what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like certain things were missing, you know what I'm saying, from what we could learn from it. Especially like a lot of people don't know, um, government came from the Egyptian culture, you know what I'm saying? Upper class, lower class, that type of stuff.
Mhm.
And you know what I'm saying? So that I think that was my issue when I, went through high school and maybe, K through 12. it wasn't necessarily about us mostly, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of had like a, you know what I'm saying, distaste for like, you know what I'm saying? But what's your take on it, bro?
Um. Okay. Well, it's a lot of things that
Okay.
factor.
Hmm.
Me growing up, I watched a lot of television. I watched a lot of
Yeah.
like black sitcoms.
Right.
Um, and as I got older, I started discovering like behind the scenes stuff that was a little bit more important than the stuff that meets the eye. Like,
Right.
I was looking up the other day um a couple videos actually about good times,
Yeah.
and it was about a black guy that actually made the whole show.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I guess the white guy that he was dealing with at the time took the concept, flipped it, and turned it into good times. And then he ended up filing a lawsuit. He ended up losing the lawsuit. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, just because of paperwork and things like that. But it just was like, wow, like this man
Right.
created an image, and it's like it was
Right.
stolen from him. And it was just like,
Right.
wow, I never knew. Like
Yeah.
we made that show, but then it was like we just got it ripped from under our belly. Like, yo, like
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff goes
That's.
on. Like it's a lot of that stuff that goes on. Like I can remember even when Kobe Bryant was alive, and
Hmm.
he had just won the MVP,
Right.
and he was scheduled to get three more, but they shunned him for um. Let's see. The MVPs after he won, I think the three ones after that were won by Europeans.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
was kind of like, I could see little codings and different things.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, they trying to put us down
Right.
because they don't want to see the black man rise to the top. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, then yeah, that's true, man. Definitely true. Like even with the history books, they always focus on the slavery part. Like we we weren't always slaves, you know what I'm saying? Like we were merchants, we were Moors, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Native Americans, the first Native Americans, not the second ones from that ice bridge in Alaska. Those were the Asians, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's like you said, it's like, a lot of that stuff you have to look more into. And I even like I was watching this documentary and you probably seen it, Hidden Colors. And I
yeah,
often wonder why they never really talked about the Moors like they should have in the book in the actual history book that we had in school. And it was because they had took over, Europe. You know what I'm saying? They came and what I'm saying, they brought all these different things like trading, soap, all that stuff during the Dark Ages. But all we hear about is the Dark Ages and the Moors, and we never hear, oh, well, they conquered, Europe around this time, and then eventually the Europeans came back and took over. You know what I'm saying? It's
right,
just
right,
more so they tell you bits and pieces, and you have to watch a documentary, get a book on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, man. Like and the same thing. A lot of people think Obama, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that Obama was the first black president. But before George Washington, there was a black president. But the thing was, I
yeah,
found that out, a couple years ago. Like, wow, and and he eventually gave it to George Washington. That was the person that he, gave that position to. But our history books say, oh well, George Washington was our first president. I'm like, why is this not in here? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, man, it's like they put what they want to put in there, and it's like, what I'm saying? And people be like, man, why is it important to know this stuff? Even the other thing I've noticed, like with Africa, man, I tell you, boy, they make it seem like Africa's this horrible place, man. They show the most, like, the poorest places in the book and how they're, living in this particular thing. That's like, and then when you see these commercials, and actually, it's weird, man. I seen something on YouTube last year. And Africa is not like how they depicted in the book. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, why is this kind of like that? You know what I'm saying? But then you understand because they don't want us to know. Like, if we knew about that, then what I'm saying, we'll be wanting to go back. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
it's just like, yeah. So it's kind of crazy that what I'm saying, how they depict Africa like that. It's like, well, dang, man. It's like, hey, y'all make it seem like it's so bad over there, like stuff don't happen over here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, that was the other thing. And like I said, I seen this video, and I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but it showed Africa. And when I mean it showed Africa in a brighter light, it's not like how you see the feed the children commercials.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, like just imagine if people really look behind the veil, like, all right, it's not really that bad. And I actually have a relative. Two of my relatives went over to Africa, two different occasions. One, she's been there quite a couple times. My other cousin was a teacher that was in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, yeah, Western media portrays it a certain way, like it's this terrible place to go. And in
mm,
actuality, it's not. It just depends on where you're at within that actual continent.
right.
Yeah, so what's your take on it, man?
Well, number one, I have to say something because I know a lot of people might not know, but a lot of those
Hmm.
like charities and funds and stuff like that, a lot of those aren't black owned charities. You know, a lot of those
True.
yeah, a lot of those charities are owned by Europeans, and they have infomercials coming on at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey, donate a quarter or 50 cents, or send your check or money order to this number, and we'll feed the kids." But it's like they show you that
Yeah.
image every year, and does it really look like they're really feeding anybody over there? Like when you really see that, I mean, like honestly, because
Nah.
they show the same commercial every year around the same time of year, and it's
Yeah.
usually around this time of year where they'll
Yeah.
have like the African kids just sitting there hungry as heck, and it's like,
Right. With flies flying
yeah,
around
and it's
them.
like that's not Africa.
Right.
Like even the diamonds that people get over here, like when they get jewelry, like that's not even real diamonds. Like the
Right.
real diamonds aren't Africa.
Right. 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 A lot of the metals and so that that's one thing they did talk about. I know. I had a teacher in high school. You know what? Even though she was a white teacher, she has
Wow.
some interesting documentaries that we watched. We watched Emmett Till in her class. We watched Blood Diamonds to learn about the conflicts in Africa with the diamonds and all the resources and the slavery and what happens, to some of those people that mine in those, stuff like that. And actually, she knew the guy. I don't know if you remember. Have you seen Hotel Rwanda?
Yeah.
She actually was living with the guy that Don Cheadle played. She
Wow.
lived with him in New York for like a certain amount of years. I forgot how many years. But yeah, man, and when you see Hotel Rwanda, they talk about the Hutus and the Tutsis, and it's kind of like the Bloods and Crips if you really think about it. So I was like,
Right.
man, yeah. So I did appreciate that she brought stuff to our attention. Even though she was a white teacher, she did, like I said, the Emmett Till. That was a really good documentary. I remember watching that documentary and
Mm.
some of the girls just crying because they seen how badly beaten he was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, man, after I watched it, I was a little mad about it because I'm like, dang, like they beat him like that. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one caused a lot of controversy with people.
yeah. So
That was
that
very,
doc
yeah.
right. So that documentary was very like I said, that type of thing. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Then like I said, the Hotel Rwanda movie, we talked about that because it talked about the UN and how they function and everything. And then we actually got a chance to meet a person that Don Cheadle played in Hotel Rwanda. She brought him to class one day. Like we
Mm.
thought she was just playing like, you don't know this guy. You know what I'm saying? We sitting there like, you don't know him. Then, one day we get in class and you know what I'm saying? She's like, I have a special guest. I'm like, I wonder who it is. And then it was the actual guy that Don Cheadle played in Hotel Rwanda, and it was interesting because he said, yeah, it's kind of like how the Bloods and Crips are over in America. That's how the Hutus and Tutsis are. They're always, against one another.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, that's crazy. In a whole nother continent, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the same thing is kind of going on over there, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of cool to meet him. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience. And like I said, he talked about the film too, because like that day in the class, he brought up certain points in the film and just like, is it still like that over there? And I thought that was really neat that she, took the time out of her schedule to see if he could come and be a guest and kind of just talk about what's going on from the movie and not just hearing it from her perspective, you know what I'm saying? And from the
Right.
actual person that survived, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I thought that was really cool that she did that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah. So I think that's something we don't hear about in the history books either. Oh man, hey, this stream is shutting me out. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, bro. My homeboy was telling me about this. I guess I sent it to too many people. Oh
oh,
gosh. Yeah, I tried to send as many people I could, man, because I was like, man, people asking, hey, when's the live and stuff. I'm like, people like, I missed it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
know how that go.
yeah, right. But yeah, man, it was interesting meeting them and stuff. And I thought it was really cool that we got a chance to like see it from his perspective and all that different things and stuff like that. Also, with Black History. The other thing I noticed, I think, once I got in college, and
Mm.
I think maybe college probably, a lot of people say, oh man, college, you weren't that great for me, da da da. I had teachers actually talk a little bit more about Black history in an extent, you know what I'm saying? Like they had stuff like I remember I forgot what I trying to remember what class that was. Oh, I know what it is. I had biology
Mm.
and I remember one of my teachers and this was an interesting day because I didn't expect it or anything and he had talked about black people being the original people. Like it was controversial because he could have got in trouble because we had like one student that was white in their class,
Oh,
and he had brought it to our attention. He said, "The same stuff that we're made of, that's what's in the universe, pretty much."
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So he told me, he said, hey, close the door. I'm like, why are you talking about close the door? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure it out. So then he closed the door, he told me to close the door. So I closed the door. He talked about it a little bit more. And I was shocked that the student that we had that was white, she didn't like get offended or anything. Because I was like, oh boy, this I
Yeah,
don't know if this is gonna be good or not,
right, right.
so I was just like, oh, this time it seemed like it's a little bit over the board. But yeah, man, so it was cool that he brought that up, you know what I'm saying, to kind of like look at ourselves a little bit differently and
Yeah,
not just look at ourselves as like nothing else. Like part of the cosmos, all this stuff we see in outer space, we're a part of it, you know what I'm saying?
yep,
And it was interesting that he had brought that up. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I didn't expect him to say anything. I mean, I knew something was coming up, but I didn't expect it to be right away. Like, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, man, it's crazy that a lot. Like I said, he talked about it. I had another teacher talk about it too, with Black History, where he was saying Black people were originally in the Americas before the Europeans came along. There were explorers. There were black explorers, which we never hear about in the history books. You know what I'm saying? They,
right,
they just make it seem like it's Spanish explorers. You know what I'm
right.
saying? What is it? German explorers, Scottish, Russian explorers, but we never hear about the black explorers until I saw this documentary called Hidden Colors. You know what I'm saying? It's like dang, like okay, well at least there's some validation behind it. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, well, we were the first people over here. If we were, what I'm saying, building stuff to sell across the ocean and stuff like that. But like I said, it doesn't really get to the history books. And I also seen in some cases, I was watching something last year where it was a lady that was upset with the history book. It was a black lady and she
Wow.
was like, I wish the history books would tell more of our history. And I could understand why she said it. Like, you got a kid, you know what I'm saying, and everything, and you want your kid to know a little bit more about their actual history. Like, don't get me
Right.
wrong, the European history is cool and all, but that's not everybody's history. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she was furious with the Board of Education about this situation. And I can understand, it's like, because not a lot of this stuff is seen or talked about. And if you don't have a teacher that's willing, whether they're black or white, to talk about certain stuff, and sometimes some of these teachers don't care. They're just like, all right, I'm just here, what I'm saying? I'm gonna just talk about this particular thing, but not sure particular heritage, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think, she was upset about it. I mean, it's changed. I think she went to court. I'm not for sure.
Mm.
And it's changed. It changed the education curriculum somewhere in the United States. Can't remember what state it was. And I was happy to see that. I was like, man, that's great that she voiced her opinion. And and got that kid, her son, to what I'm saying, also voice his opinion about it. I was like, that's what's up. And
Yeah.
maybe that does need to change if people start talking about wanting the history books to have some more of our actual history in it. That could change the narrative where it won't just be like, all right, well, we got the Europeans, the Spanish, the Chinese, and stuff. And it could change. And then, like I said, I think it should be where we could at least learn a little bit more about who we are, and also that, because the other thing I noticed with a lot of the history books that we were taught in school, especially social studies, it
Yeah.
was more so like they focused on slavery and Christianity. That's
Yeah.
all they focused on. It was like, hey, we gonna hit you with slavery, we gonna hit you with Christianity. I'm like, yo, like,
And that's how they did with
yeah,
the movies too. Like the
yeah,
Butler. You got
yeah,
Django. You got Get Out. With the whole the guy
yeah,
waking up with the white lady in the home. He pretty much had to leave.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's some other films like that, like Mississippi Burning.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
where they just show nothing but either
Yeah,
slavery or Christianity, and it's like I know it has to be more than just slavery and
right.
Christianity, or
Candy, right,
or
right.
just food too. Sometimes they overdo that too. They
True,
overdo the
true.
food aspect of it too, like in
Right,
an embarrassing kind of way. Like I
right.
was watching this documentary about it was on Netflix actually. It was about guys that like for the
Mm-hmm.
love of soul food or something like that. They were like older guys, but they had very bad like health issues and stuff. And the
Okay.
crazy thing about it was people weren't really thinking it was a white narrator narrating that documentary.
Oh wow.
So I got to thinking like, wait a minute, this is a white person narrating a black person documentary. I can
Right,
only imagine what's really going through her mind, like behind the scenes. Like
right,
it's just
right.
sad how all they show is slavery, Christianity, or just
Yeah.
something kind of embarrassing.
Right, and how brutal black people were and stuff, and it's just like we were spiritual people. It's just that they don't show our nature, even with the Native American thing. Like with at least with the Native Americans, they show like, all right, they believed in everything. They believed the land was free and the different spirits in the earth, the water and type and stuff like that. But where it's like, all right, well, on the African aspect, it's like, all right, yeah, we just converted them to Christianity, but originally Christianity wasn't our thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, it
So it's kind of
wasn't.
like, yeah, so it's kind of like sad that they focused on the Christianity thing. And I remember in my history class, my teacher told us that the last slave ships they had. This is the same teacher that told me about the Hotel Rwanda. Like I said, the Emmett Till documentary, Blood Diamonds. You know what I'm saying? She was the same person. Said, hey, these ships were named after these three people, Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. And it's like,
Yep,
that's crazy, and that's probably how they
yep,
got people to kind of get into the conditioning and stuff like that. And
yep.
like I said, a lot of us don't know that. Hey, Cemetery, what's up? Thanks for dropping by. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so it's like, Christianity, they make it seem like that's what it was. Like, no, we were forced, we were beaten. A lot of us jumped out in our ancestors jumped out in the water and got ate by sharks and stuff. And then they
Oh
try to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so then they try to divide us with, with us being in different parts of the Americas, like especially, what I'm saying, the Haitian, what I'm saying? They try to divide us like, okay, well, they were on the same ship, but y'all not the same type of people. And it's like, well, we are. It's just they had a different destination going on. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's the other issue we see with Black history. It's like, well, they they don't want us to be like connected with people from maybe Jamaica, Haiti, Africa, you know what I'm saying? It's like a divide. And I
Yeah.
remember in college I experienced that. I came across a young lady. She was born in Africa, but came to like the US like maybe when she was like 2 or 3 years old. And she had like not maybe she wasn't like super negative or anything like that, but she had the negative stereotype of what a Black American, African American is. I'm like, well, I told her like, sweetheart, hey, everybody's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she was, yeah. I think what happened was, she was friends with one of my other classmates in college in our class, and I guess she was so used to people asking her to go to parties and stuff. I'm like, everybody not going to parties in college. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? So and like I said, it was kind of a divide. I saw the divide. It was like, well, I'm like, hey, I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? But we came to an understanding. I can't remember exactly how that happened, but we talked about some other topic in class because we had ethics together, and she started to like show a little bit more of appreciation, even though she was born in Africa. You know what I'm saying? And came to the U.S. Her mindset started to change about the African American that was born and raised here. You know what I'm saying? So
hmm.
that's something that I'm glad to see that did change. You know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of awkward. Like, why she talking about me going to some party? I'm like, no. But yeah, man. So that's the other thing too. They try to divide and conquer. You know what I'm saying? They don't want us to
Yeah.
work with our counterparts from other parts of the globe and stuff. And the other issue I have with Black History too, which I don't see in the books, they always want to make Buddha like this Asian or white person. And if you
Yeah.
really pay attention to Buddha, like Buddha definitely got to be a black person. Like
Yeah.
not in hair, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh well, we gonna not tell y'all that Buddha was a part of y'all too. So like I said, they pick and choose. Even martial arts, they
Oh
always
yeah.
make it seem like martial arts is this Asian thing. This
Uh,
started in Africa. You know what I'm saying? I feel it's more than a destination, it's culture, but oh, okay, yeah, I get it. No, no, it's all good. And I was just listening to what she had said. Yeah, so I just it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't tell us that they're Black Asians. You know what I'm saying? In like Asia, like I had to watch Hidden Colors to be like, yo, there are Black people in Asia. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And it's kind of sad that we don't know about that.
yeah.
So yeah, and it's like, man, like if people would like learn, and that's I think for me when I got in college, I started to look at Black history in a different spectrum. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm,
started to look at it. And I said, man, we did all these different things. You know what I'm saying? And we don't get any credit for it. You know what I'm saying?
nope.
It's just like man, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, with the Buddha, that was one of the things. Especially medicine too. A lot of people don't know Imhotep was the father of modern medicine. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff is kind of like we kind of have to dig deeper and kind of find this information on our own through whether it be books, documentaries. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes our people we don't want to look at documentaries because it's boring. You know what I'm saying? It's just slavery. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's like, dang man, we gotta look
And,
past that. You
and
know what I'm
this
saying? Like,
and,
yeah,
and it's
mhm,
sad though because I heard somebody black say like, "Oh, that was yesterday." Like that doesn't have nothing to do with today. And I was like,
right,
"Wait a minute! Like, you don't see what's going on here? Like, you're still
right,
going through the same thing. It's just a different time frame. Like we're not.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, we're probably not in the same. Oh, this? Oh,
Oh, okay, I agree. True, true, true. But I feel like
yeah.
True, yeah, yeah. I can see what you're saying. I'm not against it, cinema TV. I get what you're saying. Yeah, but I just feel like we don't, like I said, our narrative is not shown or not valued or appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we're all related. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that is definitely true. But the thing is, we were the original people. Like,
Yeah,
their
we were.
DNA came from us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not against, like I said, them and their culture or anything, but that's just what it is. I mean, if you look at a lot of the things, even as a matter of fact, let's talk about it. Europe. Europe is named after a black princess. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that I'm like against it, but I'm just saying like a lot of this stuff is there. We just choose not to want to like look at this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah. We just
and
don't
and
want to
I,
look at it.
but we don't want to learn it. Oh, if it's Black history, oh, we're just like, oh no, it's only slavery, or it's just bad things. It's like, okay, yeah, true. There may have been wars, you know what I'm saying? There may have been different things going on, but we have to also look at the positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and that's the thing. You can't just be one sided about it or one dimensional about it. And like it's crazy that sometimes you'll ask people like, and then sometimes, people when it comes to this black history, it's like, oh well, you should forget this or forget that. And it's like, why not
No.
learn about our own history? So everybody else can learn about their history, but when it comes to us, we don't want to see documentaries. Oh, they're boring. Or it's like, there are books on this stuff by black authors, but we just choose not to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad that that's the case.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Because,
a lot of people like ever since we were younger,
hmm
we were conditioned to look at images
yeah,
before we read a book.
right,
And even like with that's how kind of things came together because I remember watching Django even and
right,
I forgot it was a white lady. I think it
hmm
was a slave house, and I think the young black boy had picked up a book off the bookshelf,
hmm
and it was something about literature. And she took
right,
that literature book, and gave him a Bible and said, "No, you don't read this. You read this right here."
right,
And I said,
right. That's
"Wow,
how,
it's crazy how they just like eradicated reading, and they just put a TV. Well, I call it the idiot box. They put the idiot box in front of our faces, and then they said, "Watch this. This is what life is all about."
yeah, that's how it was in Birth of the Nation.
Yeah,
They gave him the Bible. He was looking at other books, and then I was in Nat Turner, and I was like, dang, and that's how I do it. But one thing I could say about the Nat Turner thing was he knew that his family lineage a little bit. That's how they kind of explained it. Didn't know that. Oh, that's dope. But I mean, in terms of black Spanish history, we're all the same. But I didn't come from the same. Big. Oh, okay. Yeah, but like I said, yeah, and it's crazy, like people don't really understand. It's like, well, a lot of stuff. Even I was looking, I had looked something up like last year. Was it last year? A few years ago, and
mm.
it was funny. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to a coworker about this, and I don't know how we got on coleslaw. Don't ask me why, but it's a black dish. Even though
Yeah,
it's a Danish dish, that it's a black dish. And the other thing is people don't know about Europe. And see, this is the problem I have with history. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a beef against it, but just I guess, a disagreement or just doesn't sit right with me.
yeah,
A lot of people don't realize originally black people were in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Yes, due to climate change, the skin became less melanated. But the thing is, like I said, there, the Grimaldi family. Then you had it was another family too. I can't remember the name of the other European black family that had white members in it too, by the way. But like I said, a lot of the places in Europe have a history where there were black people there. They just don't show it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I
that's
really
true.
appreciated Hidden Colors, because with Hidden Colors you start to see like, yo, like, our people were in Europe. You know what I'm saying? There were kings, queens, nobles, Moors, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even Christians, because even Saint Nick, the original Saint Nick,
Right.
was black. He was a Christian. You know what I'm saying? And the holiday from that came Christmas. but then they had something else going on with it where they kind of made it into, a giving, to the originally it
Mhm.
was giving to the less fortunate, you know what I'm saying? Then they turned it into, this holiday,
Yeah,
so
yeah, they commercialized it to now where uh
yeah,
the third week in December, everybody dreaming and wilding about gifts.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's definitely
so it
what happened.
definitely is.
Yep. Yep. So that's why I say, and that's like I said, it's crazy, man. Like, you just be like, man, like a lot of this stuff you just have to search on your own time, I think that was the thing for me with college. It was more of like self-discovering things, like, because like I said, a lot of this stuff with the history books didn't tell the whole narrative. Because I remember when I was in class, I forgot which teacher this was, and I said, hey, why don't we never really, like, don't get me wrong, I like Martin Luther King, don't get me wrong, but it's like we never hear about Malcolm X. It was always this little small portion, just this little. I'm just like, yo, I know it's more
But,
to this person,
but see, Martin Luther King got a lot of his praise
Hmm.
because I
Yeah.
remember from the '60s to the '90s, they
Hmm.
were promoting a black preacher
Hmm.
heavy. You
Right.
know,
Right.
being like if you were an activist, it was kind of like you were kind of there, but from the '60s to the '90s, it was more like if you was a pastor, a minister,
Yeah.
evangelist, they were pushing that heavy into homes,
Yeah. The agenda. Right.
the Christianity agenda, and then especially when mainstream media came into play, and then you
Hmm.
start seeing like they start implementing more black people into being ministers and
Right.
more like
Bishops
God,
and
yeah, bishops and all that kind of stuff. And
right.
it's like once they did that, they kind of made Martin Luther King seem like he was just
Like
uh
iconic.
yeah, like he couldn't do no wrong,
Right.
greatest man alive. And they
Yeah.
always play like if you ever go to Atlanta, his church, Second Ebenezer,
Hmm.
um, during let me see. Oh, if you go there either on his birthday or on the time he passed, they
Yeah.
would do done. If you go in that church, they'll play nothing but his sermons.
Oh
But
wow.
when it come to, yeah, but when it comes to Malcolm X Day, you
Hmm.
don't hear really nothing about it. A few people posted here and there,
Right.
but it's not like as
Right.
much as if tomorrow was Martin Luther King birthday or tonight, the whole
Right.
internet would be Martin Luther King, MLK. Let's go to
Right.
McDonald's. Let's get our chicken nuggets and buy one get one free Big Mac and what they call them damn what they call them drinks
Was
with
it
the ice cream.
McFlurry?
Yeah,
McFlurry?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
McFlurries. Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
don't know
like,
why
yeah.
Malcolm X don't get his credit that he deserves because he deserves a lot of
Right.
praise.
And a lot of people don't realize like Malcolm X wasn't all like, okay, yeah, at the beginning he was racist. Okay, cool. We understand that. But people don't realize towards the end of his life he was kind of changing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, like you said, it was more like, all right, well, Dr. Martin Luther King was a Christian, this is what he was,
Right.
but we never understood the polarity between two. Yes, they were polar opposites, you know what I'm saying? But we never got a chance to understand why Malcolm was the way he was until you automatically like read the autobiography or look up stuff, interviews and stuff like that on YouTube and everything. So it's kind of like they make it less discouraging. Like, all right, well, just focus on, and then a lot of people don't realize that Gandhi was Martin Luther King's influence. You know what I'm saying? So, and with Malcolm X, okay, yeah, he had an influence too, but like I said, like you said, pretty much we, right, yeah. So pretty much we, like you said, we more were focused on Martin Luther King, and that's what
Yeah.
all they did in the history book. It was like, all right, well, Martin Luther King got this 3 pages, right, or
Yeah.
4 pages. Black Panthers had maybe about 2 pages. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X had like a small section, like it'd be like one part of the page, and it's like, well, why is it that way? I'm like, okay, I get it. I
Yeah.
understand that he didn't quite agree with certain things that was going on with our society and either maybe the government itself. And there as actually, I don't know if you've seen it, there's a clip I forgot which Hidden Colors movie this was. I think it was either the first or the second movie. I
Mm.
think it's the second movie where he's talking to JFK and JFK is trying to get him to do something he doesn't want to do. And I was like, wow, that's incredible because they don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? They talk about when Martin Luther King came across JFK, Kennedy. You know what I'm saying? But we don't hear about the conversation that he had with Malcolm. And that
Well, yeah,
conversation was interesting. I'll tell you that.
well, yeah. That's why I say around that time where you go from civil rights to like the hippie movement, going
Right.
into the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
That because at first going on TV, you didn't see a lot of black preachers and stuff being pushed into the limelight. But as we
Right.
went off into the 70s, after Martin Luther King's assassination, they
Right.
that agenda was pushed more heavily than black men being an activist. Like, you got Khalid Muhammad,
Right.
um, and who else? I know it's a few other people that
Right.
have been, activists in different communities. But
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if because he was a part of Christianity and it was booming
Hmm.
when the 70s and
Right.
90s, especially in the black
Right.
community, after
Right.
Martin Luther King, you have people like Kurt Franklin. I don't know if anybody y'all know Kurt Franklin. Like, do you want a
Yeah.
revolution? Yeah, all that stuff was
Right.
put on
Right.
everybody. It was like a tidal wave of
Right.
yeah, it was like
Right.
a tidal wave because it was like, okay, everybody should be a Christian. And then uh I know some of y'all might not remember, but I'm gonna take y'all back down memory lane. They were giving
Okay.
out the what would Jesus do bracelets. You remember those?
Oh yeah, I remember those. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
do
were
remember those. When you said that, I'm like, dang, I do remember those. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Back
they
in the
were they were
'90s.
yes, they were
Yeah.
pushing the WWJD movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they call those
Yeah.
books? I think Daily Word books and
Yeah. Daily Word. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So it was like
Yeah.
they put
Yeah.
Martin Luther King on that pedestal
Right.
for
And
our
I,
culture.
right. And I felt that was kind of like narrow minded and one
It
sided because it's like,
was.
well,
Yes,
Malcolm,
it was.
you know what I'm saying? Like when you think about it, it's like, well, Malcolm did some great things too. It was more that he wasn't with the peaceful protests. I get that. I understand
Right.
that about him. But he was just trying to get people back like a unit, unity amongst the black people. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's true, man. It seems like with Martin Luther, they did do that. They kind of pushed him out there. And I think, also a lot of people don't know Martin Luther's the holiday, that holiday, he was how can I put it? He officiated that holiday. Yeah. I can't remember. There's a picture where he's with some like wealthy, I think Rockefeller family member or something like that, I think. And it's like, well, okay, maybe that's why Malcolm X never got an official holiday. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that could be why. You
Yeah,
know
because
what I'm saying?
Martin Luther King was as great as he was, he was
Yeah, he
still
has flaws.
he still was part of the program because like I say, American when they pushed this Christianity heavily, they were trying to get everybody,
Yeah,
old people, young people, kids, babies, because it was such like a tidal wave to where if you were Muslim or if you were like Muslim or Buddhist or anything like that, you would
right.
kind of be an outcast. And I kind of think that was an outcast because of his ties to the um what's that? I know it's right on the tip of my head
Yeah.
because of his ties to the FOI and the nation.
Okay.
And I think because Martin Luther King was more Christianity, black preacher,
Right.
mega
Right.
preacher, they kind of was
Right.
pushing him more. And Malcolm X by him being a Muslim, it was kind
Yeah.
of like he became an outcast because back then, if you were a Muslim, especially in like black communities, people would just look down upon you to where now it's like everybody's kind of open to different
Yeah. It's
cultures
just
and
something
stuff like that. But
cultures.
yeah, back then everything was like, if you told somebody, no, I'm not a Christian, or I'm a Muslim or something, they would just like pretty much put you
Yeah.
down. I kind of felt
Yeah.
like
That's
they put him down based on his religion,
yeah. Yeah. That's
yeah,
true.
his
That's true.
beliefs.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's definitely true. And even like you said with Buddhism, you know what I'm saying, if people would notice, you know what I'm saying, that like with the whole Buddha thing, that Buddha was black, you know what I'm saying, and Buddhism started out in Africa and then ended up going to Asia, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And a lot of people don't know that. They just think like, all right, well, Buddha is just this Chinese person. Like, man, look at the hair. The hair will tell you, and just the facial features, a
Yeah, the
big
face.
wide
Yeah.
nose and the
Mm.
lips. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's
Cheekbones
just
and everything.
yeah, the cheekbones and everything. That's us. You know what I'm saying? And people at it like, oh no, that can't be us. But and I see people do practice Buddhism. I have a neighbor in my neighborhood I live in now, and I was like, yo, and I love how her house is kind of set up. Like she has like the Buddha statue, you know what I'm saying, and like the little rocks and like the little, I guess how that type of thing going on, where it's
Mm.
really neat. You see the Buddha statue, and just like the different sand strips and stuff, and her appreciation for it. So when you go in her house, it's probably gonna be something like that. You know what I'm saying? Where they probably have I forgot what you call them, e-sense and some of the other different things and stuff like that. And I'm sure she's probably has some pretty not so was knowledge on Buddhism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's amazing. Like I said, I wish we had that in the book too, where they talk about it to some extent. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't practice it, it's good to know that Buddhism, if you know the original, you know what I'm saying, because it's changed over time, that there were black Buddhists and there still are. Like I actually did some research a while back, and in South Africa they have I think it's like a temple somewhere in South Africa, where
Mm-hmm.
people practice Buddhism and stuff like that. So all it was a geography difference. Like they just went to Asia, and that's what got incorporated. We've had black samurai, you know what I'm saying? Even in Japan, black presence, Rome, all these different places. But it's like they try to hide it from us. Like, man, it'll be, people will be more happy to see their faces in it too, not just another culture's heritage in it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's why I have my, I guess not my hate for it, but just my frustration with the history, the history books,
Yeah.
because like I said, certain things they didn't really tackle. Like I said, especially with the Moors. I wish we had more pages with the Moors. They had like I think 2 or 3 pages with the Moors.
Yeah.
Um, they had, like I said, with the Black Panthers, maybe 2 pages. And like I said, it's interesting, like how what they want to put in it. You know what I'm saying? And if we had maybe, what I'm saying, not to say that there can't be white people writing the book too, but we had more black writers with the history book that's in the education system. It could be better for us. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can learn stuff that we were unfamiliar with. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not just our counterpart, you know what I'm saying, having their views and perspectives on it and trying to keep us away from our history. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
that's
true.
how, yeah, yeah. Because like I said, when you look at them history books, textbooks, K through 12, boy. Like I said, all you see is majority white editors. Like I said, maybe 2 black people at most.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, in that book, that's a part of the book, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, like y'all couldn't get nobody else to kind of, balance it out where maybe it'd be, 4 people for this type of heritage, and then, and I mean, maybe, I'm not saying that it's gonna ever change, but it would be great to see more of that going on, so that's that's really how I
Mm.
feel about it, especially with the Native Americans too, because a lot of people don't know the Khalifas. Those were black Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said there were 2 different types of Native Americans. Yes, you have the
Yep.
ones of Asian descent, but you had the ones of black descent, and the ones of black descent have been over there for years. You know what I'm saying? Which we call originally called Turtle Island. So it's great if they could put that type of stuff in the book. Like I said, like no one knows that the United States nowadays probably don't know that it's Turtle Island unless they watch a documentary or look up information on it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, the Khalifas, they were all in California. And like I said, if you look at a picture of them, they're as black as us, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
So that's yeah, and that's the thing. I was like, wow, and we hear about it, what I'm saying, but they never really like dabble on it, So that's why I kind of like, ugh, like it's cool that we hear about it, but we don't hear about much about it and stuff. But I mean, there are some things too, So it's like, it's kind of crazy. It's like that. Also, the other thing I noticed with Black History, um, the Australian, the Tasmanians.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, man. We don't hear about that either in the book. You know what I'm saying? Like it had like a small portion of it what really happened, but they don't really go in details. And I know, in different places across the planet, I bet you other people know a little bit more information about it. You know what I'm saying? I think certain education systems are a little different, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, why another small portion? Because Aboriginals, most of them came from Africa or migrated from other places, So yeah, it's crazy how it is, man.
yeah, it is. It's
Yeah,
crazy how they leave stuff out and then just feed
yeah,
us whatever they think we
right,
call, history of our own, and half of that stuff is
right,
just like, fabricated and just put together and pretty much brain
yeah,
food forced to us, man. It's like,
yeah,
and people,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
another thing. It's like it's so sad how we have like computers and phones, up to
Hmm.
date technology, but people don't want to research and the age of information and look this stuff up, man, so they can educate themselves on certain
Right.
things. It's sad.
Yeah, that's true, man. That is definitely true. Like I know, even with science, man. Let me talk about science for a bit too. I remember in science class, and I always wonder, man. You had the homogeneous, you had the heterozygous. You know what I'm saying? Homo was it Homo sapien,
Yeah,
and I
almost
never
every. Yep.
really, yeah. So they never really like, and I never, I always wonder. I said. And then you had recessive. You had recessive dominant. That was the other thing too. And it's just like, well, why don't we ever see a picture of? We always just see this little chart. So I was just like, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? I always wondered. And I remember this was like in college because I ended up taking biology in college, and I was curious to find out. I was like, oh, that's really what it's about. They don't want us to know this particular, trait is us. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, what it is and stuff like that. Especially with like, what is it, Homo sapiens and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, like you said, they put the information there,
Yeah, and they just
but
put it all together without really thinking
yeah,
about what they're putting, and then they just like, here you go. This is what your history's all about. Read it, soak it, better
yeah,
in your head, and that's what it is. And don't ask us for
right.
nothing else because that whatever you think is not true. So it's like,
Right. And like I said, yeah, some of that's like you said that is true, man. It's like you really have to kind of look past the word and stuff to kind of get an understanding. You're like, man, that's what that is. Even I took an anthropology class, man, and let me just say this, it was interesting. We had different people of different beliefs in there. And I remember there was a girl in my class, and everybody has their different African spiritual practice, which is totally fine. And she talked about voodoo. You know what I'm saying? And it was different because I wasn't familiar with it. You know what I'm saying? And she said, yeah, there is, there's the good, and then there's the bad. You know what I'm saying? And she explained it, what I'm saying, because how like how you said they try to make it seem like it's evil, bad omen, zombie. You know how they do. They try to
yeah, yeah,
discourage you or deter you from it and say, "Oh, that's what's up." Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that you came through, man. So it's like they try to derail you from it, and I could never. I remember this day, and there was a Christian. It was a black Christian in my class, and she was like, she just starts to like get scared. I'm like, why? Just because someone has a different you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
ideology, then you shouldn't just like freak out and kind of spaz on her. She's telling you what it is. You should be wanting to learn from it because this is something that you're unaware of. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of our heritage, and not everybody does it, but you could at least learn something from it. You know what I'm saying? And it was interesting because her family had came from Louisiana and stuff, and like I said, she talked about, yeah, there's good to it, there's bad to it, but it all depends. You know what I'm saying? Some people use it for the wrong reasons. And it was interesting hearing that because, like I said, I came across anybody like that. I mean, I knew one other person at the time like that, but I wasn't like in class with them. You know what I'm saying? I would see them off and on, passing by type of thing, but it was never like, oh, okay, what's that? Oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Yeah, she just tripped off. She's like, "Oh, you that?" She's just like just fast. I'm like, hey, look, let her explain what she's talking about so you can understand. You know what I'm saying? Don't get all in the, what I'm saying, all in the tissy about it. You know what I'm saying? I was
Right.
just like, I was like, dang, like, give her, let her explain what it
Right.
is.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
like I said, I was glad that I mean, even though she may not agree with it, at least she, gave her a chance to speak about it. You know what I'm saying? So it was good to know about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
even with some of the stuff that we see in movies, man, especially Black Panther. A lot of people don't realize some of that stuff is our heritage. Like a lot of people don't know that those tribes that we saw in Black Panther, those weren't fictional tribes. Those were real tribes. Like Ryan Coogler told us, he did an interview. I forgot which interview it was. He did quite a few before the Black Panther movie came out in theaters. But he said all those tribes were based off of real tribes in Africa. So he spent a lot of amount of time going to Africa to present, what I'm saying, something to us that is about us, you know what I'm saying, and learn about our actual culture, what we believe in, and all that stuff. You're right about the tribesman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? People just say, oh, it's just a fictional movie. It's like, nah, he's talking about how
Nah.
you get taught to the ancestors, the ancestral
Yeah.
plane, you know what I'm saying? And just meditation, like the different type of meditation where they like this, you know what I'm saying, when he was in the sand.
Yeah.
So and it's like it's crazy how people just ignore that. It's like, oh, this is just a regular Marvel movie. And I'm like, nah. Even
Nah.
the women tribe, the Dahami. That's who those women warriors. Those are based off the Dahami tribe in Africa.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talk to someone else and just think it's just a regular movie. They'll just be like, oh no, that can't be real. Or that can't be true. And it's just like, really? Like you just gonna ignore the fact that these are real tribes. You know what I'm saying? So I could definitely I appreciated that Ryan Coogler took time out of his schedule to present it in a film medium, you know what I'm saying, to learn about ourselves and also how T'Challa confronted his father in the spirit world, which I thought was really neat, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, you lied to me, you know what I'm saying? And you see all the other ancestors around. I was like, man, this is really neat. And you could tell that he really, kind of came, been there for a while and kind of incorporated all his experiences and then turned it into a blockbuster hit. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to look deeper. They want to say service level. Yeah, absolutely true. I can agree with you, Matt. Man, I can definitely agree, man. That is true. And that's one thing. That's why I think Black Panther, when I saw that movie, I appreciated it a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, Marvel movies, not all of them, but some of them have some stuff in there. Even Doctor Strange, has some stuff in it too. Not to be off topic, but yeah, a lot of that stuff, man, it's in these movies. You know what I'm saying? Even the Matrix. Even though a lot of people don't know the Matrix that was written by a black woman. That
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
taken from her, and she went to court and won a
Yeah.
lawsuit against the people that took the Wachowski brothers took that from her. You know what I'm saying? And even there's a scene because I was talking to someone about the Matrix. I like it. That's like one of my favorite sci-fi films. I have other favorite sci-fi films too, but I remember because it's like how you know the other guy that was the antagonist to Neo is the Oracle's son. Like, remember when she said, she's like, "Hey son, how you doing?"
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bruh, that's her actual son. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the genealogy is a little different. That's all it is, And and that's kind of what she was. She was the creator of the Matrix. And a lot of people don't. You can believe they wanted to cast Will Smith as Neo. Yeah, yeah, I'm surprised too, man. I was like, I don't know, man. I think it'd have been interesting to see Will Smith being Neo. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I don't know if it would
Yeah,
have
I
worked.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it would have worked, but I'd have been interested to see what they would have been. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, they did mention Will Smith, and Will Smith turned it down. I was surprised. I was like,
Yeah,
wow. Like after you did.
I was shocked he turned it down too, though. I really was.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, dang, I'm like, bro, you would have been on a whole nother level.
Yeah,
But yeah, so like you said, man, yeah, Will Smith turned it down. I know he did Wild Wild West. Lolo, yeah, 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 that was his worst movie.
that. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, Will Smith learned from it though. I give him that. He did learn from that movie. But it'll be interesting to see him play Neo. And a lot of people don't know Morpheus originally was supposed to be Val Kilmer too. And I'm like, I don't know how I would have felt. Like,
wow.
I don't get me wrong, Val Kilmer's an okay actor. He's not a bad actor because I liked him in a couple movies. But I think was it Lawrence Fishburne did a great job playing Morpheus. I can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I thought about it too. I'm like, Val Kilmer, Lawrence Fishburne. I'm like, I gotta go Lawrence Fishburne for this one. But yeah, so a lot of people don't know a lot of those movies, man. They like I said, especially Black Panther, The Matrix. A lot of that stuff is it's not just entertainment value. It's like you said, it's deeper, man, to what it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, man, it's crazy. Like I said, even what's that other movie? I'm trying to figure out what movie I'm trying to think of. Avatar with the blue people. That's based on the indigenous people, man.
Yep.
A lot of people don't want to look at that and they just think, oh, it's just a 3D animated film. But it's showing you what happened, like how they got colonized by these people from a whole nother place, came and took over, dominated, infiltrated their culture, you know what I'm saying, and pretended to be like them and stuff. And like I said, man, yeah, the film medium, there's definitely some catchy stuff with that, man. Especially like I said, with Black Panther was definitely like I said, a film where you really even with the music with Black Panther, man. Even though Ludwig Göransson did it, you could tell that he put some actually some time into that the music score. He didn't do the soundtrack, but he did the music score, and man, it's a
Yeah.
phenomenal like score. I'm like, he's white. I'm like, DC, took it and made it into something where we can appreciate it. Like if you're into music scores, because I like the last couple of years, I kind of got into like doing like music scores, for movies. I started to appreciate them. I even Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's my other favorite music score. But yeah, man, like I said, even with um not to be off topic, I guess I'm gonna have to change the name of this live a little bit too. Storm. Storm is based off of Eurisha goddess, man. And we just looking at Storm like, oh yeah, she just. I'm like, no, this is based off some. Even I know this is gonna shock a lot of people. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, those are based off of Charles Xavier and Magneto.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So yeah, you'd be like, huh? Like Stanley did that? Hey, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, even they may be white, but you can tell with the ideologies. First, I didn't quite get that. I'm like, really? But then when I started to look at their differences, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why he's more like Martin Luther King. I can see why he's more like Malcolm X. He's more in your face about it. The other person, like, no, man, let's make peace, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So you see that within the show, you know what I'm saying? Because racism, alienation, and all that stuff. And yeah, 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 Matt, man, yes. Malcolm X is loosely based off of Magneto, and Charles Xavier is based off of Martin Luther King. Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah,
Wow, I'm
yeah,
glad. Yeah, man, Stan Lee didn't play, boy.
yeah. That was
So
that was incredible. He did that.
yeah, it
That was
was.
incredible.
It
He did
was,
that.
man. I was just like, wow, like he threw those characters in there. Yeah, and it's crazy when you think about it. You like, if you really sit and just listen to their dialogue, you're just like, okay, I can see why they said that. I can see why he said this because their ideologies differ with one another, you know. But yeah, man, Stan Lee, yeah. It's new to me, but I can see it. Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. If you look at their ideologies, you can kind of see it. Like Magneto's kind of like in your face with it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Where Charles is more like doing a peaceful approach. You know. So yeah, man, a lot of that stuff, man. Even there's another thing too I could talk about. And it's a kids show, man. Shockingly, I was like, and it's not all black people, but they do have black people in it. Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite niche shows, man. It talks about meditation. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting because you're like, yo, this this is a kids show. You know what I'm saying? You thinking like, what can I learn from this?
yeah. But they
And
did. They did have hidden messages in
yeah,
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
yeah,
It
yeah, they
kind of it's
did.
kind of similar to like Yu-Gi-Oh to me. You know what I'm saying? Like how the way
Right,
they put
right.
those messages in the shows kind of show you how like
Yeah, even Dragon Ball Z. There's a picture. I don't know if it's still floating around on the net. Where they had like you remember Piccolo, right?
yep,
There's a picture. I don't know how true this is. There's a possibility it might be true, but Piccolo is supposed to be like loosely based off of like Malcolm X. Yeah. Like there's a like his costume where he has like the things, little white, turban and all that stuff.
yeah,
I was like, wow.
wow,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never
So
knew
I'm
that.
like, yeah. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, maybe there is a possibility that he was black. You know what I'm saying? I always thought he was black anyway, but I was like, yeah. Avatar is deep. I watched the whole series. Yes, yeah, it's a deep series. Yeah, man, Avatar is like what I said, one of my favorite animated shows that came out, man. Because like I said, it dealt with opening your chakras, which I really thought was neat. And also just other things too, a lot of wisdom within the show, and just the story, man, like how all these different nations had, different things going on. The Fire Nation kind of pretty much was majority, white people. There probably were a few brown people here and there. But and it shows you the same thing that's going on, but just in an animated format. Yeah. So, and I think the Earthbenders, I'm gonna say the Earthbenders and the Waterbenders, those were mostly the black tribes, from what I saw in that show.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah. When you think about it, it's like most like Boomy was black, Tough wasn't black, but Katara, because it was a Katara was black, Sokka was black, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting how with those shows, man, it show you different things and stuff like that. And just the ideologies, too, and within the movie and stuff, like especially with Aang kind of learning how to deal with the chakras and all that stuff. But yeah, man, a lot of the black movies also play a factor. Even I think I hadn't thought about this. Maybe I should talk about this. Jordan Peele's what is that? Us is the perfect example. The problem with black people. In a sense, you know what I'm saying. And it was crazy because when I saw that film, I was like, man, I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but it looked pretty good. You know what I'm saying. But then off topic is your thoughts on it? Hmm. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna have to look into that, Matt. Thanks for the information, man. Yeah, I don't know too much about we got conspiracies. Okay, yeah, you know what? Send me when I'm done with this live, send me some information on that, man. But yeah, man, it's crazy. With us, it show like the duality. You know what I'm saying? The good and bad. You can't just have the good. You know what I'm saying? Even though the doppelgangers, you saw like they're polar opposites. You know what I'm saying? You saw the good, then you saw the bad, and you know they kind of were different. You know what I'm saying? They had different angles,
Yeah,
different approaches to doing things. Also, that movie embraced a couple different things, man. I mean, it had a religious meaning. I saw that. I did get the understanding of that, but also embracing your human nature, you know what I'm saying, and I think that's one thing I like about Jordan Peele's films. um they have a lot of realism in it, you know what I'm saying, and I really appreciate that he does that. That's why he's like my favorite horror director, because when he does films, you never know what to expect. You're like, okay, I seen this trailer, but I don't quite know what's gonna happen next, but when you
yeah,
see the movie, he paints a picture, like I said, with what's that? The Get Out, the interracial couple dating one another. You know what I'm saying? And the family being against her because she dating them and stuff, and she's kind of like hiding her problems, and you see she's no good too. But with us, it was more like human nature. Can you break down the religious take? So with the religious take on it, pretty much we have good and bad within us. You know what I'm saying? We have our good side, we have our bad side. Um, in human nature, you know what I'm saying? You can't ignore one side, you know what I'm saying, and expect it just be all right. I'm been good all my life, you know what I'm saying? More like a duality, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said it's kind of like with that take on it, like I don't know if you remember when the little boy in us. Remember the scene where he was flicking the fire, and
yeah,
the other boy couldn't, he didn't know how to do it. So you knew they had swap spots. I'm like, how he can't flick it. So I'm like, hold up. I'm like, the doppelganger switched with that side, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you're like, yeah, fast, like, nah. And then you could tell because you saw how his face was all messed up. I was like, man. But yeah, I think Jordan Peele, man, I hope he keep making movies like that, man. You know what I'm saying? To
yeah,
kind of open your mind to like different things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to look at something to kind of get something else out of it. And like I
right.
said, with us, the mom and son switch. Yeah, yep. The mom and son did switch. Right, right, right. And messing up the words. Right, right, right. Yeah, the mom and son switched because when you her dialogue was different. You know what I'm saying? When you realize like, hey, she's talking about human nature, original selves. Getting back in tune with nature. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that's one thing I like about Jordan Peele. He's one of my favorite black directors. Ryan Coogler too, definitely for Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I hope we see more of that. You know what I'm saying? Where it's stuff where it's like, yo, did you check that out? Did you see
Right.
that? Yeah, so that's the thing too. I know there's a movie. I can't remember who's producing. There's supposed to be a Black Samurai movie coming out. I don't know if it's a live
Yeah,
adaptation or not. I know they talked about doing the animation for it. I'm like, I don't know. Y'all should just do the live action. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? Yeah, so they talked about doing something with the first Black Samurai, and I think that could work. You know what I'm saying? Where you see, how it was in Japan and everything, and how they treated them, and just maybe show some of the famous things that he did, or what should say famous duels that he had. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, yeah, with Yu-Gi-Oh too, bro. You're right about that. Yu-Gi-Oh focused on duality too. You know what I'm saying? So that was also another thing that I did see with Yugi. I was like, dang, and I remember what season was that? I can't remember exactly what season it was, but when he fought this one guy, and it was kind of messed up. I was like, dang, like his other side is gone. You had the good side was gone. The darker side kind of stayed there. He swapped out with them, and the character kind
Yeah,
of just lost. I'm like,
I think season one.
nah, it wasn't season one. It was the one with the dragons where they all had three. They had dragons. I
Oh,
can't think of the name of the season though, but
yeah,
it
yeah,
dealt with
yeah.
this guy.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about, though. Yeah, when
yeah.
they all had the Egyptian gods.
No, not that one. It was another season after that where they had dragons and they were like one was like a green looking dragon,
Oh,
the
I know
other
what you're
one,
talking about. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
know
I
what you're
was
talking
like,
about. Yeah.
yeah, so I was like, man, it's interesting that they focused on when you saw him, you're like, okay, now you got to get used to being without the other part of him, you know what I'm saying? It's like kind of strange, but you kind of get the gist of it.
It's funny you said that because a couple of the guys that were like the animated voices, they
Hmm.
were supposed to be at a Comic-Con this past year
Okay.
at a Novi Showplace, but I guess due to the pandemic, they
Right.
had to cancel it. And they were actually gonna have like the two voice animators do it live on the screen with their
Okay.
vocals in front of everybody. And it's just terrible stuff
Right.
that this pandemic kind of blew that. That would have been a great
Yeah. Yeah, that's
visual.
true. Right, right, right. That is definitely true, man. But yeah, like you said, man, when it comes to black films, what I'm saying, especially if like something like a documentary, it shouldn't be like another person like talking about it unless, they're somehow maybe their family lineage, you know what I'm saying, because everybody's kind of related anyway. But yeah, man, it's crazy that it's like that. But yeah, man, like I said, hopefully we see like more like black documentaries. I know we have Hidden Colors. Out of the Darkness is another good one. Have you seen that, bro? Out of the Darkness?
No, I got to check it out.
Yeah, I know there's one. It's only one film right now. I'm hoping they do a sequel to that, bro, because it talks about the Empire Kush in Africa,
Wow.
and it talks about chess. A lot of people don't know chess was made by black people. I did not know that. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I was like, and it was cool, man. I was like, wow. And that's why I said Out of the Darkness talks about how other people from other places kind of came and took, like I said, spirituality, science, a lot of this stuff. We were pretty much the people that came up with this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Especially medicine, like I said, I talked about Imhotep a while back. And it's really neat that like I said, they don't say that, you know what I'm saying? Like especially with science.
Right.
It's like, man, like a lot of the science, even just structure of government and all that stuff. Like I said, it's really neat. Even the other thing they don't talk about, and I forgot to mention this a while back, was they don't talk about Haru or Kimi, you know what I'm saying? So you hear about the hieroglyphs in the textbook, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's like you don't hear about like, okay, well, this pharaoh was based off this particular thing. And I wish, you know what I'm saying, they will focus on that. I mean, you hear about there's a sunken city, so you hear about the sunken city that happened somewhere like not too far from Egypt. I can't remember the name of the sunken city that they have. You know what I'm saying? And even with the omelets, that's the other thing. They're like, oh, who made these heads? And you look at the omelets, they black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like they try to make it seem like, oh, we don't know what that is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, it gotta be black people. Look at the head.
Yep.
Look at the facial structure, like, yeah, even though it's in another part of America, you know what I'm saying? Even there was I can't remember what state that is here in the US. Mounds. And these were black people that made those mounds too. I can't remember what tribe it was. It was a Native American tribe, but and I was like, that's incredible. Even with history as well, King Kami of Hawaii, man. You hear very little about it. Like I remember there's like this one page on them like Are you kidding me? One small page with like just a little bit of who he was. I'm just like, wow. I know y'all could have added a little bit more detail about him and stuff like that in the other Hawaiian princess. So yeah, man, it's just things. Hopefully, a lot of stuff becomes a little bit more out there. I mean, there's information on this stuff. We just gotta look into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a book that I read when the world was black. It's like a part one, part two. It's a really good book too, by the way. I don't know if anybody's book readers or not, but it's a really good book. Talks about black culture in Japan. What I'm saying, Europe, what I'm saying, the Polynesian islands, all those different places, and you'll be amazed on like, man, just the stuff even in Europe too, so that's something that I think people should check out too. There are some really good books out here about that too. And like I said, even with our presence within Asia too, like there's a book on that too. So
That's nice.
yeah, yeah, man. So yeah. So got anything else you got in mind, bro? Or
Man, I think you pretty much said everything, man. I pretty much think anything else, man. That's pretty much that.
yeah. So yeah, but I want to thank everybody that tuned into the live, whether you stayed, or came on by and everything. I forgot to say don't forget to hit the likes.
No.
I forgot all about that. I was sitting there like, dang, like I need to forget to say, I'm like, yeah, thumbs up to the host if you can. And like I said, if you are interested in some of this stuff. There is a documentary series called Hidden Colors. I highly recommend you check it out. You'll be amazed on what you can learn from that documentary series. It's by a black person, not by anybody of European descent. I'm not against that either because there's a book out talking about there's a I can't think of the name of the book off the top of my head where it talks about the issues too with black and white people and kind of just I don't want to say too much about it, but it's a really good book. But yeah, Hidden Colors is definitely a good documentary series. Also, Out of the Darkness is another good one. It's only one movie for Out of the Darkness. It's a fairly long movie too. And Hidden Colors is the first one's not as long, but the other ones get longer as they go. They even have one on the hate on Haiti too. The revolution, the Haiti Revolution too. And also there is I'm trying to figure out it's another book I wanted to say. Check out the book Black Gods. That's another good book too. That kind of tells you about the different black gods and stuff and everything. But this is my live for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in with my man Jay and me as well. I appreciate everybody that came through. Hopefully, I've been saying to myself, I know a lot of people don't know. I've been trying to find new people to collaborate with. Even though I don't mind collaborating with my regulars, you know what I'm saying? But if you're interested, like let me know. If you got me on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, illblurmatic. So we can do something together. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to find people this month and it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a rough process, man. Sometimes people tell you, "Oh yeah, I'm interested," and then you shoot
Yeah.
back at. I mean, I know there's one person, but like I said, the other person I haven't gotten a chance to collaborate with because their schedules is really busy at the
Yeah.
moment. I do have another collaboration coming up that will be a skit.
Oh,
I haven't really
wow.
worked on it just yet.
Wow.
With someone I hadn't got a chance to work with, so that's coming this week. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to work with other content creators, man. Like let's come together and do some collabs, man. Like, don't be afraid. It's just regular talk. I don't know why people just think it's gonna be perfect. It's not perfect. It's just you being
Yeah.
yourself.
Right. Yeah. Just regular conversation.
Yeah, just a good conversation and everything. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I'm a put you in a hot seat where you freezing up and scared. I'm not trying to do none of that, y'all. I'm not, I kid you not. I'm not trying to do that. I understand people do get nervous, but I'm not trying to do it. Like, if you don't want to answer the question, you don't have to answer it. I'm not gonna be like, you better answer my question or
Right.
else. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a friendly atmosphere. You can ask the people I collaborated too. They'll tell you that it's
Yeah.
not that type of atmosphere. But I want to thank each and every one of you guys, and thanks Jay, bro, for
Hey, I gotta
one
let
of the
y'all
still.
know.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, y'all on Instagram, y'all go to Most Hated Guy 313. If you looking to hear motivational word, I got plenty of snippets on the page. Got new stuff coming too. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna be going on there tonight, probably 10 o'clock, 10:30. So if you ain't doing nothing, chilling, got your popcorn and your Pepsi, come on through. Say what's up.
Right. He also does music too. He does beats and stuff. So, you might hear some beats and stuff like that. He does do the music too, besides, giving knowledge and learning different things. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man. Well, all right, guys, have a great Sunday, and I'm gonna try to get this skit out here sometime. I'm gonna try to get it probably either Wednesday, maybe Monday if I can.
Okay.
Because I haven't, like I said, I haven't been able to work on this. I've been working on this other video, and I'm just like, oh man. So sometime this week you'll definitely get the skit, guys. I want to thank everybody that came through again. Until next time, guys, have a great one. And all right, bro, take care, man.
All right, be easy.
All right, same here.
Yes,